G'day, this is Central Coast Newspaper's weekly news 5 at 5 for the last week of October 2022. In the bulletin this week, the federal budget targets the coast, historic handback of Peat Island, Gosford Waterfront gets support, food industry set to boom, good weather gardening events and jet city sports at Woytopia. Now, Tuesday's federal mini-budget was wide-ranging for the new government. Several election commitments were announced, including a few very local promises. We spoke with both federal MPs from the coast.
With the national commitments, the two major ones that I want to talk about are firstly the cheaper childcare bill and also the policy and also the cheaper medicines bill. So the cheaper childcare bill stands to benefit at least 6,900 families in the electorate of Robertson alone. It's about the same amount of families in the electorate of Dobell. So we're looking at roughly 14,000 families that are going to benefit from this, this policy commitment that we made in the budget. Right. So medications that are on the PBS, when they're put onto a script and they're dispensed, those scripts will now go down from $42.50 down to $30, which is quite a significant saving. Many people on the Central Coast, right across the age spectrum, are on medications, normally more than one medication.
Two other election commitments are these so-called Medicare urgent clinics, one in the north, one in the south. Tell us about it.
What these urgent care centres will mean is someone that will be able to walk in without an appointment at no cost to them to be able to get the care they need. This is so important in a community like ours where we've got lots of young families and older people.
Now, a historic handback of Peat Island from the New South Wales Government to the local Aboriginal Land Council happened this week. We went along to witness the historical proceedings with Minister Anthony Roberts.
Can I first of all acknowledge country, the land of the Darkinjung people. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land, and this is just the first step in us actually being recognised for such.
It's a great honour to be here on what is not just an historic occasion for the Darkinjung, but I think an historic occasion that people will look back in the future upon for all local Aboriginal land councils and indeed Aboriginal communities.
Now, New South Wales opposition leader Chris Minns visited the coast last weekend to throw Labor's support behind the proposed Gosford Waterfront plans. We were there.
It's an exciting day for us. We're today committing $8.5 million to allow Central Coast Council to progress to stage 2 for the infrastructure investment framework. Now, that's a fancy way of saying we're going to get going with the Gosford Waterfront projects. We need this project for the Central Coast. It is paradise up here, but it needs investment from a future New South Wales Labor government.
And the food industry, the manufacturing of it, received a big boost this week with a $17 million federal budget commitment toward a new food manufacturing hub at Lisseroe. We caught up with Central Coast Industry Connect's Frank Zammit.
It's been 5 years in the making and a lot of hard work, but fortunately we had good support right across the region as well as our politicians clearly, and we're there. So hopefully in another 3 or 4 months' time we'll start seeing things coming out of the ground, which will be really exciting.
Now, our gardening guru Sherilyn picks a few great gardening events that are coming up soon.
This is what's on for plant lovers. Burbank House and Garden has a Kokedama workshop this Saturday, 29th of October from 2 to 4 p.m. You can make your gorgeous creations out of plants or succulents. The choice is yours. Bookings are essential. Call them on 436 55396. The Lakes Festival is coming up, and Swamp at the Central Coast Wetlands has a creative nature children's corner. This is running from Monday to Friday, 7th to the 11th of November. Lots of different spaces available for children and their parent or carer. You'll get to explore the arts, flora, nature, story and food, all part of the 2022 Lakes Festival.
Now, all of this week's 43 local stories written by local journalists can be found on our news website, coastcommunitynews.com.au, and in this week's print edition of the Coast Community News. Find us via your mobile phone's Google News and Apple News apps, where fresh local stories are published every day. And of course, you can subscribe to our weekly email newsletter via our website and follow our socials via YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram for brief highlights throughout the week. Now, audiophiles can listen in to our bulletin on Radio 50 Plus 93.3 FM throughout the weekend. Now, we leave you this week with a little taste of a great young band, Jet City Sports Club, that's featuring at Sunday's Woytopia Festival. The young band's lead singer is a coastie, and her sublime voice has been gaining a lot of attention across the music scene. And, as Spike Milligan would say, see you in the Woy. I'm David Abrahams for CCN. Have a great sunny weekend. Thanks for tuning in.